Good evening, everybody. Happy Boxing Day. I don't really know what that is, but it's December 26th. So glad to see everybody. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. We'll have a story that'll be sure to ruin everybody's mood. So glad you're all here. Welcome in. Welcome in. Terry R., good to see you. Pet Detectives, good to see you. All right. Glad we got some of the regulars in here already. I have my door open. Let me go shut that real quick while people are coming in. Busy day, guys. Busy day. We got a lot of people traveling and everything, so we'll give it a couple minutes before we jump into the story here. I was actually up not far from where this takes place. This is not far from Brownwood, Texas. And of course, I got the maps pulled up, or I'm going to pull the maps up. And it's right in the middle of Texas, and it involves a whole family going for a nice little picnic. And then it all goes south from there. So I thought this is perfect for this crowd. So hopefully y'all enjoy that. And well, this is another one from Indian Depredations in Texas. Oh, I forgot to get the link for y'all. I like to put it up in the chat every time because if you don't have it, it's always good to get a copy. Even if you have a history lover in your life, grab a copy for them. I make no money off of it, but I highly recommend it. It's a must-have if you're into Old West history at all. Let's see. Let me know how your Christmas was. Glad to see everybody coming in here. What's up, Divining Rod? Good to see you, man. I'm trying to find the link. I'm not having a lot of success. I usually find it. Oops. Oh, well, guys. I'll post it in a little bit. I don't know. There we go. Okay. But we'll give it our usual 5-10 minutes. Let everybody come on in. We're going to cover another story from Indian Depredations in Texas. It's the chapter titled Massacre of Mose Jackson's Family. It's a real bummer, but at least they let you know what's going to happen. And honestly, I just went one page on from the story we did 2 days ago about Carmines and Tankersley. Like, bros, those are the most difficult, I don't want to say forgettable, but those are the most difficult to remember names that have ever been. My goodness. Divining Rod says 81 degrees in Austin today. Yeah, I was out of town and then I came back and it's just like, how is this? I've had a lot of warm Christmases here, but this I think is the warmest. Testing. Is this live? What's up, Amadiana? Good to see you. Been a long day, so I'm still getting my mouth to work with my brain here. Arizona boy, what's up, man? Hope you all had a great holiday. You as well. We're waiting for all the regulars to come on in. And we got another story from Indian Depredations in Texas. If you were following us last live stream, all you got to do is flip one more page, and that's where we are. I was up in this area. I was up in the area where the last story happened. And then this story is not far from there at a place called Pecan Bayou. And I thought, well, why keep looking? This is a good story. I'm going to look up a map of where Pecan Bayou is for everybody, so you have some idea of where we're talking about. Let me know in the chat how your Christmas was, too. I'd like to hear about it while we're getting ready to go. This isn't a super long story. I know everybody's had a long Christmas, so this will just be enough to give you nightmares, and then we'll all go about our post-Christmas festivities. Okay, well, I just had that. Let me get a better map here. One second, guys. I'm pulling it up. There we go. That's the one I wanted. Okay. You'd think I'd be real handy with the maps by now, but not so much. We're working on it. All right. I just posted an episode too. So if you're just getting here, we have an episode up for members. It's already up for you, but that's why I'm in the middle of doing 3 different things. But I think this is a good story. Let's see. Anybody have any bubblegum? Not here, friend. Not here. What story is this one? 574. So this is going to be on page, for the digital copy of Indian Depredations in Texas. This is on page 437 in our horrific little curriculum here. What the hell, says Nick Sweeney? We're live. Yeah. I sent a message to members saying we're going to go live tonight. It's a late night stream. I'm glad you didn't see it, Nick Sweeney, because then you'd give me hell for being late. But technically, I'm not late because I posted that tonight's show would be at 11 p.m. Eastern, but I knew that wasn't going to make Nick Sweeney happy. And I hope you had a good Christmas, Nick Sweeney. Let's see. It was 65 in LA. Yeah, dude. It was flooding there too, right? I just saw there was a tornado there. Let's see here. Which episode is Billy Dixon? That is the Battle of Adobe Walls is his famous shot, and that was a couple episodes ago. And then the Buffalo Wallow fight is, gosh, a while ago. You probably mean his famous shot, Bamadiana, and that was the second Battle of Adobe Walls. Arizona Boy, love your channels. Echoes of Us, says Terry R. Yeah, we have a star of our own here in the chat. Arizona Boy has his own channel called Echoes of Us. Tell you what, when I get, because I have so many tabs open right now that I don't want to. Well, before we get out of here, though, I'm going to post a link to Arizona Boy's channel. It's really, really good. Hit him up with a subscribe, give him a like, give him a comment on his episodes. They're, I don't know, 5-10 minutes long. They're really interesting. He has a good voice too. Really he's coming along much faster than I did when I started. So it's impressive. Let's see. I saw one that you put out for members about Billy Dixon. Maybe you mean the short? I'm trying to think. We've done a lot of episodes, so I'm trying to think off the top of my head, Bamadiana. Did you see a short? Because you're a member, you should get the shorts early as well. Let's see. Los Angeles had the floods. Yeah, that's crazy, man. When it floods, it can flood. There's been some horrific floods there. Let's see. I'm trying to. Let me know if you're talking about the short, Bamadiana. I'm curious. I'll try to suss that out for you. Let's see. Let's go to 10 minutes, and then we'll dive into the story. It said like 15 minutes before I saw it today. We just had part 2 of Billy Dixon's account of his shot. That was a short today. We released so many, I kind of get them confused, but I believe part 2 was today. So I'm pretty sure that's what you saw if you saw it today. No full length? 15, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's it. If you're looking for the full length episode, it's the second battle of Adobe Walls. But what came out today was the short. I'm pretty sure. I'm positive. Let's see. Let's see. I know Arizona Boy. Yeah, I'll hit you up. I saw your thumbnail email. I'll get back to you about that for sure. Because I got some ideas that might help. Don't take it for gospel, but it might help. All right. Yeah, no worries. Okay, so today let's at least it's been a pretty successful method to show everybody where we're talking about, and then we'll get into the story. It buys everybody a little time to get in here. Okay, so let's take a look at Pecan Bayou. This is the area that we're talking about. I believe it's 1861. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to check the chat and make sure everybody can see it. Give me a 1 if you can see it in the chat. That way I don't start talking while everyone's staring at a black screen, or even worse, just me. Let's see. Looking for 1s, and then I'll start talking here. 1s. All right, cool. So we are in just about Central Texas again. A little bit. We're about 2.5 hours northwest of Austin, and about 2 hours southwest of Dallas, just directly west of Waco. So right here, if you're familiar with the town of Brownwood, we're not too far from Brownwood, a couple miles, and we're going to be in this kind of hilly. It's rather idyllic depending on the time of year. I believe this happened in the fall, and we're right down on this river. Actually, it'd be nice to zoom in on this. So we don't know the exact location on the Pecan Bayou here. We don't know the exact location of where this happened today, but we know it's somewhere on these banks right here. And you can see the trees here on the banks, and that's kind of a figure in our story today. So we're going to talk about um, a collection of pioneer families out here, settler families, what have you, that had taken up that had gone down to the riverbank and started sawing down, and it sounds like maybe milling their own wood because it says they're making boards out of the on the riverbanks, but I don't know if they're actually milling it there. Either way, we have some families meeting down here on the river bottom, and it turns into this social occasion, and then it all goes south from there. It's another one of those stories where a lot of things went wrong here. A lot of things went wrong. They didn't see our latest episode, it sounds like, because everything that we talked about, like, don't think that a bunch of shots are a hunting party. Don't go out alone. Don't bring your kids. Don't get off the horse. They did everything wrong. So another master class on how to survive tonight. Let me see. I'm gonna take one more look at the chat before I enjoy the maps. Thank you. Thank you. We're sharpening things up, but we get better every time. Full moon mushroom mountain biking in McDowell Park, listening to Armored Saint is quite fun as well. Wow. Well, that sounds like I don't fully know what that means, but it sounds like a good time. Does anyone else hear that? Do you hear something in the background? I don't want to. Well, I'll take care of that before we get started. Anybody hear anything? So I'm going to take this off and we'll jump into it. Pull my notes up here. Yeah, let me know if you hear anything. I'll keep an eye on the chat. Until then, I'll jump into it so we don't keep everybody waiting too long. Thank y'all for coming in, too. We have quite a few people here. All right. So this is going to be in the fall of 1861. No sound, huh? Okay, one second. All right, I rebooted it. Can anybody hear me now? Thank you. Terry, okay. Thank y'all. Can you hear me? One, if you can hear me. I don't know. I checked the mic. One, so everybody can hear me. We're good. Not sure why that would have happened, but such is show business. I'll wait for a couple more ones and then we'll jump into it here. Good evening, all. What's up, Doc Will? Good to see you, man. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Well, all right, cool. I'll keep watching the chat. If for some reason that happens again, I'll check back in. It's out on my very strange. I hear you. Okay. Maybe try reloading the page, Pam and Deanna. That might work for you too. That's what I had to do. All right, cool. So, like I said, I'll keep checking back, but we'll jump into it here. So we're talking about the patriarch of this family is Mose Jackson. He came to Texas Pecan Bayou specifically in the very early 1860s, like 1860 itself or late 1850s. During this time, we talked about this in our last episode. The Civil War is kicking off, so the Comanche really see this as an opportunity to really strike this central Texas area because there's just a dearth of resources. There's a dearth of financing. The Confederate Army is kind of coming in and taking over camps, but all the focus is on the Civil War. So there's not as much. There's few rangers, there's very little in the way of law enforcement on the frontier or any force to combat the Comanche. So things really start to ratchet up, maybe mid 1850s, and they're really at a fever pitch by the fall of 1861. But this collection of families, the Jackson family, the Kirkpatrick family, and the King family is the three families. Sorry, there's a lot of names. The Jackson family, the Kirkpatrick family, and the King family had all gathered on the banks of the Pecan Bayou. The men had gone down there first, found a good collection of oak trees, and they needed several boards. It doesn't really say for what, but they always needed wood. So they spend a day or two down there cutting down trees and harvesting wood. It looks like a really beautiful area. They don't see any sign of any danger around. So after a day or two, they decide at the end of that day, they say, okay, well, tomorrow, how about we bring our families out? We'll have a picnic. You know, they can all like have a little bit of a siesta while the men finish cutting down the trees, and then we'll cut them. It sounds like maybe they're quartering the logs. I don't. It says they're making them into boards, but I just don't think they were actually making them into boards on the banks of the river. But they're quartering these logs up. It sounds like. While we're doing all that, the kids and the wives can hang out and play, right? Which sounds crazy to me, but I guess you're just like, you got to live your life. So everyone goes home. Jackson, King, Kirkpatrick all go home. The next day, the Kirkpatricks and the Kings show up, and they're there from late morning through almost early evening, all day long. They have the picnic. They cut down all the trees that they need. They only stop working when they have all the wood that they need. But this whole time, they're thinking, well, Jackson and his family is going to show up. He has several kids. It's 6 or 7 kids. We'll get into that in a second. Also, his wife. So they're thinking, well, something might have happened. Like one of the kids got sick, or any number of things that happened to us today, right? That could hold them up. It's not necessarily reason for them to panic. But by the end of the day, they haven't shown up. So they decide, like, oh, sorry. And the early afternoon ish, they hear a bunch of gunshots coming from like half a mile away down in the direction of Jackson's farm, where Jackson's going to be coming from. And again, we've seen this happen a couple times. I don't know why. We saw stories of this happening in the 1840s where people say, oh, it's a hunting party. They're just out there hunting. So, like, no need to go see what's going on, which I guess is fair. You don't want to accidentally get unalived by hunters, which happened quite a bit. There's a lot of stories in several of these books about kids and guys that went out to just go for a walk or something and got mistaken for a deer and got shot. So I guess it's fair enough. You don't want to go run over to check out every supposed hunting party that you see, but maybe go give it a look if you're expecting this family to come and they're not coming. Either way, they don't do anything for several hours until they have all their wood cut. And they decide finally, like, you know, this is weird that they're not showing up. They take their respective families home, the Kings and the Kirkpatricks, and they say, stay here. The men are going to go back down the trail, down this creek bed, then Pecan Bayou, and just see if we can go check on Mose Jackson and his family. And they go, it sounds like, let me just double check the distance. I believe it's somewhere in the mile to maybe 2 mile range. No, yeah, it says over a half a mile. So let's say 3/4 of a mile. Not terribly far. Close enough to my mind where you would think you would really want to go investigate these shots. But either way, they come upon a Rob Zombie horror film, gosh, I don't even know who's another like horror director, and one of those horror movies that doesn't really have a plot. It's just out there. It's just like a shock film. It's just terrible, right? They see Mose Jackson. We see. Sorry, I'm just bringing this notes up. We see Mose Jackson leaning over in the seat of the wagon, just like done, right? We see his wife, who is also leaning, her head is out of the wagon behind him, and she's been on a lot, like, right, not a great deal for her, and her head's just like hanging. Everyone has already had the treatment, right? Then the oldest, let me see, there's a lot of kids here. The oldest, I don't want to mess all this up. This is a very sensitive subject, so I have to be very careful about TOS here. Okay, I already kind of screwed up one little part of it. The oldest daughter is found, her head hanging out of the wagon. Okay, we're going to have to use our imaginations here. Mrs. Jackson is pulled from the wagon. We don't really know how large the war party was. We'll get to how we have this recollection later. She's pulled out of the wagon and asks for time to pray. She says, like, well, I know you're going to unalive me, but please don't hurt my kids. And please, like, give me time to pray first. She gets no time to pray. She's just filled with arrows. She's cut. Then I believe two more of the youngsters Um, let's see. The eldest daughter is given the same treatment. The 7-year-old and the 4-year-old. So 7, 4. Okay. Same treatment. Found in the exact same condition. Every single one of them, no exceptions made, is given the complete plains warfare posthumous treatment, right? Like no more no more of this. Uh, everything else cut up because the idea is to hinder the person in the afterlife and to take a trophy, right? So all of them have been summarily mistreated, we could say. No more way, I guess. And like that's for every single one of them, except for two of the children, Joshua, who is about 11 years old, and his sister, Rebecca, who is 9. Um, the search party comes back, buries the remainder of the family, but they know that the two kids are missing. And it is about a year and a half. Let me make sure I got that. It's a year and a half before the daughter is traded back, and eventually the daughter is sold back, and the son is traded back, and they come back to the town of Brownwood, and the daughter eventually kind of, even in the book it says, well, she basically makes a recovery more or less. They're obviously just traumatized psychologically and not in great shape physically from being Comanche captives for a year and a half. It doesn't seem like this was a particular attempt at adoption. It doesn't seem like they were treated terribly well. Um, but the young daughter is brought back, and she seems to recover and reassimilate, and ends up getting married and having kids and settling in nearby, I believe it's Goldthwaite, but I just want to check. In Lampasas, excuse me. So about um, an hour and a half southeast, southeast of where this occurred. And the son, who was taken about age 11, let's say returned in his late 12, maybe just turned 13. He seems to have never recovered. It's there's not a lot detailed in this book, and they take some real time to detail that he was found living. He was returned. He was living, but his quote, his mind never recovered from the shock caused by the unaliving of his family before his eyes. And a few years after his capture, he lost his mind entirely. He is now, excuse me, he is now constantly talking about the unaliving of his family, and he wonders about the country being clothed and fed by those who know and sympathize with his sufferings. So if completely lost his mind, like lost his mind, basically homeless from there on out, and just kind of rambled around Brown County, Brownwood, just like muttering about the unaliving of his family, and just deteriorated from there. It doesn't say what ended up ultimately happening to him, but safe to say it wasn't great. Um, that was just one of the, again, and one that's like a page and a half, but that little ending really, you don't hear a lot of that. I've read a bunch of stories from this book, and there's not a lot of kids being returned, and one of them just, I'm sure it happened plenty, but you don't see a lot of people just completely losing their mind and then accounts of what happened to them after. Is particularly chilling. And to think this was one of the raids where there wasn't a lot to be taken. He had Mose Jackson had his horses pulling the wagon, but it's a two horse wagon, probably mules, and not a ton of animals with them. So this just seemed to be a raid to harvest trophies. The mules were taken, but other than that, there was 2 out of 5 children spared, and usually like, the wife would be taken hostage as well, but none of that. This was a particularly brutal one, and a yeah, a particularly rough story, a particularly rough ending, even for Central Texas history. This was a bad one. So, uh, again, a short one. I think that always speaks to the frequency and the ferocity of these events in Texas. But if you're interested, it is The Massacre of Mose Jackson's Family. I want to make one more attempt at posting the link to purchase in the chat here. I seem to do it for this book, just about every chat, but it's a worthy book. Indian. And now, if you have any questions, hopefully everybody can hear me. If you have any questions about the story, about the episode we just put out, let me know. Let's see here. Um, got a lot of chat. I like it. I like it. We're all reconnecting after the Christmas holiday. Do we have any of our UK guys here? It's like legit Boxing Day for them. I take it they didn't have a Gatlin or no AR-15. No, 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 Divining Rod. They did not. It doesn't even say that they were armed at all. So, like, it's not outside the realm of possibility. It sounds like they're only coming from about a mile away. If they were half a mile away, maybe they're coming from 2 miles away, but it doesn't sound like very far at all. So they may not have been armed at all. It just doesn't say, but they certainly were not prepared for an ambush. Let's see. Checking the chat real quick so everybody can hear me. That's a good start. Must have been a small party. Usually they'd keep the smaller ones. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about it that way. It's a smaller party, and so they're just not able to carry that many people. Good point, Divining Rod. Yeah, that's a. I was kind of thinking like, yeah, that's even for the ferocity of the time. Like during the 1860s, you saw some really particularly brutal stuff. But yeah, just a smaller raiding party wouldn't be able to carry them. So excellent point. Let's see. She had to have some kind of PTSD. You're talking about the daughter. Yeah, you would think so. It only mentions that she was able to, assimilate and then did get married. So she was taken when she was 9, I believe it is. And the boy was taken when he was 11. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And we don't know what happened to them during their captivity. But a lot of these people did come back. Like a lot of them, even with Herman Lehman and Adolf Korn, they weren't like happy about it. But I don't know. They didn't seem as wrought with PTSD as we are today for, I don't know, a variety of reasons, I'm sure. Actually, Wild West, I almost said Wild West propaganda, Wild West extravaganza. Josh just put out a good episode on PTSD in the Old West. I'd like to explore that. Maybe I can have him on to talk about that too. Let's see. Boxing Day, they set up leftovers and gifts for the less fortunate. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I always wondered what it was. Let's see. They were hardier people in the past. Yeah, I think they likely looked at the world through a different paradigm too, because there was a lot of evidence of uh, psychological trauma, especially you saw it in World War I, especially, and in the Civil War, they would just brand people cowards. I think they saw it; they just didn't know what to do with it. But there was a lot of people in World War I that were, officially unalived for having shell shock, basically. Those are some of the worst stories from the war for me. I have a master's degree in interdimensional basket weaving. Well, that's going to make you a valuable man, Divining Rod. You live in Austin too, so that's a big market here. I'm only half kidding. Let's see. I'm looking for the term basket case. This is from Divining Rod. The term basket case comes from the soldiers returning from World War I with shell shock. They were taught basket weaving to calm their nerves. I did not know that. They were taught basket weaving to calm their nerves. So see, it might be a good skill. Let's see. Um, that's so crazy to me, says Bama 8900. The Comanche would even unalive women as opposed to most other tribes who would generally take them as captives. Well, that was what's curious about this story, Bama 8900. Like Divining Rod and I were talking about, I think that has a lot to do with the supposed, or what would say presumed size of the raiding party itself, because that wouldn't be uncommon. Like, yeah, usually even the Comanche would take hostages, would take women and children, because they're, if nothing else, they're valuable to them as a trading commodity. They can be used for labor. And like the Comanche had, a lot of the Plains tribes had dismally low birth rates and high miscarriage rates. I've seen it attributed a lot to being an equestrian based people, just having to ride a lot. I don't know if that, I've heard contentions to that too, but I don't know. That I guess makes sense to me. Either way, crazy low birth rates, crazy high unaliving rates for their male population. So yeah, they would usually take the kids if they could, and if for nothing else, take the women to barter to negotiate with. So this wasn't unheard of, but a particularly brutal one. Yeah, they'd usually have taken more people with them. Our thought that's well, I divining rods and I's thought is that the party was too small to do that. It just didn't work out logistically. And that's how they looked at it. They'd be like, well, can't take these. So Terry R, $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Sounds like a lot of captives were eventually released. I don't know about the majority, but yes, a lot. That's a lot. A lot of them didn't want to come back. Adolf Korn and Herman Lehman, and a lot of them. But they were an economic commodity for the Comanche, because they knew, like, the settlers would pay a lot to get their family back. Risa says brutal. It's legit brutal. It's brutal. Like, this would, if this happened in your county today, like, it would likely shut the place down. Even in Travis County, if this happened, I mean, it would be front page news nationwide. Sorry about that. My Colorado alarm trip. Let's see. You know what's funny is that episode Josh posted supposed to be. Oh, it was Wild West Extravaganza was answering your question, Arizona boy. But kept oh, right on though, dude. That gets you some you're getting publicity on that channel too. Let's see. We seeing Terry R and Nick Sweeney mixing it up again. Old rivals right back at it after the holiday truce. Yeah, it's an interesting question to think about, whether or not they were just hardier people, whether they had a different paradigm for processing and embracing suffering. There's a lot of legit theories floating around out there. Let's see. You're saying Bama Deanna is saying, yeah, the low birth rates could be happened by horse riding. Yeah, that's what I've read. And they were very, very low. They knew they were in a population crisis. So so I feel like especially the Comanche were way more pragmatic and way less dogmatic than people think of them. I think they really think that they're oh man, kind of like an insular, Spartan-esque fighting force, where it's like, you're born into this and we're uh, a very closed off people. And it's like, no, they were super pragmatic. They would just, they're very Mongol like in that, where Genghis Khan would, if you were on his team, if you were against him yesterday, but he could use you today, then welcome to the team. Let's see. Hola, what's up, Space Cowboy? Hope you had a good Christmas, man. I guess you just missed our terrible story to get everybody out of the Christmas mood, but you can go back and catch it. You might know this one. Nick Citron says, "Man, Bear Pig is angered. He's always mad, man. He's always mad. What's he say? Excelsior," and he flies away. What's up, Nick Citron? Good to see you, man. Let's see here. Any more questions about the story? Any questions about Indian depredations in Texas? Any questions about our latest episode? If you're a member, you've already got it. You should be able to watch it. It's posted for members, and if you're not, shame on you, first of all. And it'll be out 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. I swear I'm going to get better at those time zones, but I never do. Smart move, changing his channel from Bloody Beaver podcast. Yeah, I mean, at the time though, that was a decent name, but the market's just changed a lot. But I've been listening to Josh since Bloody Beaver podcast. Yeah. Let's see. We have a lot of inner chat rivalry mixing it up. I like to see it. I like to see it. It's kind of like a boxing gym. Like, I like to see people in here mixing it up. Let's see here. looking for everybody's chat. If I missed your chat, just type it in again and I'll catch it at the bottom. Your audio has been 5 by 5 the whole time. What does 5 by 5 mean, Nick Sweeney? I had to reload it once. I don't know. I don't know why. I double checked the mic and everything. Is everybody else good with the audio? Divining rod. So there was a okay, good. Different divining rod says there was a different mindset. Our current mindset is much wider and deeper than theirs was on average. Yeah, I mean, I don't guess I don't disagree with that. Because people could live their whole lives in just one town, i.e., the inner dialogue that we have now back in the day would have been thought of as the voice of God, and a lot of instances in history point that out. And sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Y'all know about Jan van Leyden, and where was that in Germany? Oh, I used to know off the top of my head. Y'all know about Jan van Leyden and the Anabaptists, and where was that in Germany? It's going to drive me nuts. But Jan van Leyden and the Anabaptists like revolted in this town in Germany, and because they said, "Oh, well, we're hearing the voice of God, and He's telling us to like do all this do all this crazy stuff that we can't really get into on YouTube." And the I don't know if it was the Catholic Church or the German authorities, I forget who, but they went and captured them, broke them on the wheel, like broke all these guys on the wheel. It was a whole like day long thing. You know how the Germans are, you know what I'm saying? Then they put them in cages, and the cages are still up there on the cathedral, I think. Like it's kind of like, well, I want to go see that, but guys, like it's been a while. We get the point. Uh, let's see. You sound great to me. All right, cool. Who knows what Nick Sweeney is stirring up? He's trying to get in my head, but you got to wake up early in the morning, Nick Sweeney. Divining rod, please explain. And not if you want little ones to listen. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we have kids listening. Sometimes people bring their kids, and I'm going, well, I'm glad you're here, but earmuffs every now and again. I'm just kidding. I like it when kids are here. To us, yes, as far as our inner dialogue, theirs was more simple. They were not readers. We've read thousands of pages of info and concepts. I think they were fairly literate, though. Well, I don't know. They were certain they're not as literate as today. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's see. Has it ever been discovered why the Comanche were so brutal, other than the fact they were the whipping boys of the other tribes? I guess I'm trying to ask why they weren't more passionate. I'm not sure in what context do you mean passionate, Arizona boy? Oh, compassionate. Um, I don't know. Like we talked about before, you can't view any tribe as a monolith. I'm sure there are instance. Actually, we covered an instance of Comanche compassion where the member of the survey party had been saved from a Waco raiding party, I believe, by a group of Comanche, and they let the whole survey party go. So, it's not a 100% sure thing that they're always going to behave brutally, but I think they were trying to hold on to a landmass. They were trying to keep what they had taken and drive people out of it, and that was a brutal job, and they were trying to hold on to a profitable empire too. Like the more that they held of the southern plains, which was the prime real estate, it didn't snow as bad. It stayed warmer longer. The buffalo herds would stay down there longer, and they were just buffalo everywhere. So that's what drove the whole thing. And I think other than that, yeah, it was just they had a long history of being the whipping boy, and they just weren't going to go back to that. Let's see. It's crazy to think our inner dialogue would be if one didn't speak any language. I guess so, yeah. There's some of those They say there's some significant percentage of people that have no inner dialogue at all, which is like, hmm, that's questionable. Also, in our Western Occidental mindset, coming across Eastern Oriental mindset of philosophy, no, not literate at all. Yeah, I mean, I pulled that back a little bit, Divining Rod. Like, they're not as literate as we are today. I just don't think they're as illiterate as we tend to think they are. Let's see. And even I think they were more well spoken than we are today because you can look back at a lot of like Civil War letters, and yes, they're all that, or a lot of them are very rudimentary spelling. They're filled with very rudimentary spelling, but the verbiage they're using and the adjectives are way more illustrative than we use today. Like they'll write to their wife about, it's hard for me to even think of the words, but this, uh, stupendous, the amazingly beautiful, the whatever they have like a much more deep and rich vocabulary, even if it's misspelled here and there. Where like today, we're just like we post a picture and we're like sunset season or whatever. Let's see. Illiterate doesn't mean stupid. Yeah, that's kind of my point too. It's like I don't think, and Divining Rod's not saying they were stupid. I just they I try to be charitable and at least push back when people say, "Oh, they're all illiterate," and it's like, they're not all illiterate. My kid's not listening. Comment was in reference to Bloody Beaver podcast. I don't remember that. There are a lot of these stories about tribe versus tribe massacres and tribe versus settler massacres. I'm sure that at one time, every man, woman, and child living in America knew these. Yeah, you would think so, and many, many people today do not. So the voice you hear when thinking, like your inner voice, the brain voice, well, I think if you hear like an actual voice, that's not good. Let's see. They don't need to be literate. Yeah, I mean, look how literate we are. It's not doing us a lot of good. Let's see. When do you think these fell out of memory? When it became politically expedient to expunge them from people's memory, just like anything else. Well, I like truly like that's what runs a lot of history. Babies till they get a language run on pure emotions. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Jake Skywalker, I missed the notification. Oh yeah, man, no worries. It'll be up, so you can rewind it. Glad you made it too, dude. Hope you had a good Christmas. Space Cowboy says your answer is exactly what I figured. Yeah, I'm not even like that's not even a particularly controversial stance at this point. I wouldn't think. Let's see, Elizabethan English, Elizabethan English, sort of like Deadwood is written. Yeah, I just couldn't think of that off the top of my head. Like I couldn't vocalize it because I'm used to modern day dumb talk. Let's see. Not like a crazy person, Brand. No, I get it. I get it. I'm just kidding. HOKC, there was a fine line between sane and insane. That's true. That's true. There's a fine line between greatness and insanity. Sometimes they blur. They had much stronger vocabulary, says Risa, even if they couldn't read or write. I would agree with that. People today, especially these children in inner schools or are schooled, have far less vocabulary and skills. Far less vocabulary for sure. I think it is just kind of like we're lazy with how we communicate. Let's see. It is rather dystopian at times. It's true. In some instances, writing skills and reading skills, less writing skills and reading skills. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's a matter of necessity too. Like we don't need to write letters, and we have emojis and a lot of abbreviations. So you know, it's just a different way that we communicate now too. But yes, it's far more respectful in general. Like there's, we can have some argumentation on that. Far more romantic in many cases. My wife thinks I'm crazy, says Arizona boy. Well, everybody needs a little bit of that. What's the difference between insane and outsane, says Nick Sweeney. Um, I don't know, but outsane clown posse would be a good cover band. On average, tiny vocabulary on the average. Today, yeah, we have a pretty limited vocabulary. And everyone, I think today, this is my theory, and I've heard people say this, so maybe it's not my theory, uh, is that everyone speaks the same language. There's hardly any accents. Accents are disappearing. Colloquial, regional speech is disappearing, and everybody just uses the exact same words because we're all on the same social media apps. So the vocabulary is kind of being cut down. There's less and less illustrative or regional phrases, or less and less effort put into really descriptive adjectives, or um, you know appropriate verbs. Everybody just kind of uses this slang talk now, which is, yes, very, what is that, 1984, A Brave New World, one of those. They say one word sentences that are meaningless, though I will say Shakespeare himself said brevity is the soul of wit. Hmm? Just push them back a little bit. Just having a little fun. I have a superfluous lexicon. Speak for yourselves, says Mojo88. What's up, Mojo? Glad to have you back, dude. You're quite the loquacious gentleman. Your perspicacity is unrivaled. Nick Sweeney, Man Bear Pig thanks you, thou art blessed. Well, as long as we have the Man Bear Pig blessing, we've got to get Man Bear Pig one of those things that throws out the smoke. You're thinking of dialogue you've seen in movies and war letters written by people who could read and write. Me? I'm referring to like Civil War letters home. And let's see, all who are watching, hit the like button. Oh, thank you, Terry R. Terry R. with a $2 super chat to remind all of us to hit the like button. We have 30 people in here. We have 18 likes. Let's even that number out. And Bama Deanna says, I'm not sane or intelligent. Well, I think you're selling yourself short there. I think everyone in the chat would argue that. I read somewhere at some point in time, we're all going to go back to using pictures to describe and write things instead of words. So if the use of emojis continues at this rate, that's where we're headed. Maybe we might go back to hieroglyphics. Hit the like button. Even I forgot, says Mojo. Mojo's our resident like button reminder too. So thank you guys, because I do forget. It's like half my job is to remind people to hit the like button, but it comes second to the content sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You severely underestimate your own ancestors, says Risa Arm. I don't. I think my own ancestors I'm pretty impressed with, because frankly, I don't know. You ever seen those Irish propaganda cartoons? I think they were kind of onto something. I think maybe I'm Irish, so I could say this, but like, were they like little monkey people with pots on their heads? It's like, well, listen, are we gonna like? I am impressed. I don't underestimate them. I'm impressed that these bog people were able to somehow get across the Atlantic Ocean and somehow across the country from there, and then I ended up here. And I mean that. I mean bog people endearingly, and I'm one of them, so I can say that. Let's see. Thanks to Mr. Bossy, I took away my like. Oh man, Nick Sweeney, he's not the boss of me. Honestly, though, I don't want anybody else to do that, but I respect that. That's classic Nick Sweeney. Let's see. I'm trying to find the chats here. See if we got any. Oh man, allergies are killing me. I'm trying to flip through here. I think actually, I might actually be caught up. Cussing occurs when a person's emotional state exceeds their vocabulary. David Mills, creator of Deadwood. I go with that. That sounds good to me. That could be on a t-shirt. Oh, I never underestimate my abilities, says Nick Sweeney. It's impossible for us to do that. Let's see. Where are we at here? 50? Okay, cool. I can see it heading in that direction. Nick Sweeney is always stirring up trouble. I like it. He's our enforcer. I'm telling you guys, if we were a hockey team, Nick Sweeney would be our enforcer. Then let's see. Terry R would be our French Canadian goalie. Y'all seen Slapshot? Hopefully you've seen Slapshot. We got a lot of Gen X in here. You guys have to have seen Slapshot. Great soundtrack. Let's see. Arizona boy, what were you saying? Arizona boy Brandon. To your point, though, we are all bog people. Well, I mean, yes, but go look, guys. I'm gonna post. I got to do two things at once here. Arizona boy, because you said that, I'm gonna post this in the chat real quick so everyone can see kind of what I'm talking about. Irish Gypsy boxing challenges, and we'll show everybody kind of what I'm talking about. Because these people, you guys, these are my people, and they're crazy. What is even going on here? Oh, gotta turn the sound off. Turn the sound off. I don't want. Wait, Gypsy boxing. I gotta find a good one for y'all because these Irish guys, they go crazy. Challenge video. I'm hoping to find a specific one. The guy gets all tired. He gets a starts talking like that. It's great. Here we go. This is my culture. I'm so proud of it. I'm gonna give you a copy here. All right. Then Arizona boy, we'll put your channel up at the top here. But everyone that's curious about what I mean, Irish boxing challenge. Go check this out. I just posted it in the chat there. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. It's these Irish gypsies challenging each other to fights, and they're in the middle of fields, and just go like, "So come on down here and box me right now. If you don't do, you're nothing. You're nobody. I'm the big man in town." You can't even understand what they're saying, and they have subtitles. They're speaking English, but they have subtitles. It's a great watch. It's a great watch. Can't recommend it enough. Then at the top of the chat here, I'm going to post Arizona Boys channel. This is called Echoes of Us. Link address. At the top of the chat here, I'm pinning it right now. Y'all go subscribe, give them a view, give them a like, give them a comment. It's a good channel. It's a great channel. It's gonna get better and better. So give them all our love and support from the HOKC Army. Oh no, bog people, not pot people. I meant bog people. But if you go look at the old propaganda cartoons, they have pots on their heads. Let's see here. Do you like Dags? I'm not sure what Dags is. What's up, Elite Super Grunt? I knew somehow you had Irish ancestors. I could hear the Irish in your voice. Well, nobody's perfect, you know. I feel like I feel like that proves I'm Irish because I have this like self-deprecating, culturally deprecating sense of humor. Anybody else insults the Irish, though, we'll go. Let's see. Mojo says I'm a pot people. Well, that's none of our business, Mojo. Let's see. Bamadiana says this is hilarious. It's a hilarious video, and it's just it's not an act. That was not an insult, Brandon. I know, Risa. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding you. Let's see. Gen X here. Nope. You haven't seen Slapshot Divining Rod? Really? You guys got to watch Slapshot. Then everybody will get how funny my references are. Where like Nick Sweeney is all three of the Hanson brothers. Terry R is the French Canadian goalie. It's a great movie. One of Paul Newman's finest. Arizona boy, I have 3 kids and I think about it way too much. It's probably unhealthy how much I dwell on them. Well, don't think about it too much. I don't know what you're talking about, but don't think about it too much. If you're thinking, you're stinking. Let's see. I'm checking the chat here. We're coming up. We're almost at an hour. So we'll push to an hour and then we'll reconvene tomorrow morning. I might do a members only coffee chat tomorrow because I don't want it to like take away from the actual episode, because it launches for the public tomorrow. So I'll do a members only coffee talk. Like at least I'll open it up. We'll see. I'll work it out. But tomorrow will be like a members only coffee talk. That way I don't pull all my audience away from the episode. Florida has the best hockey teams. They do though, right? That's kind of odd. But I'm a Stars fan. Divining Rod. I'm in Austin. Yeah, I know, man. We're supposed to go to Lucy's, right? We'll set that up. I've never been to Lucy's, so I'm looking. I've had Lucy's catered somewhere, but I've never been there. I would love to be one of those Irish ladies in box. You got to watch like the whole documentary on the Irish gypsy fighting scene, though. I don't know if you really want to be part of it. Power to the people, no party privileges. Do you have a Mao tattoo, Nick Sweeney? Just curious, or like a Pol Pot, like a Pol Pot picture on your wall. Let's see. He's gonna round up all the people in glasses. Anybody with a calculator is on Nick Sweeney's list. I'm more OG. Bad News Bears, dude. Yeah, I've never seen Bad News Bears all the way through. I just wanted to watch a bunch of drunks play hockey, so I was like, "This is great." Let's see. More Island of Misfit Toys. Apache Junction has gorgeous views. Where's Apache Junction at again? Divining Rod. Let's see. We have a lot of pro-Irish sentiment in the chat here. Okay. I like it. Let's see. The captions on the Irish boxing video aren't even correct. No, it says Jamaican. He says, because he's saying he's saying you're making all these tapes and they're insulting me. But it comes out like, all over these tapes, it's Jamaican, all these tapes. You're coming after me and my family. And it's like, what are you saying? Like I've spoken English. I spoke English my entire life, and I have no clue what you're saying at all. It'd be easier if you were in fact speaking a foreign language. Lucy's Chicken and Waffles. But maybe people don't know what Lucy's is. Lucy's Chicken and Waffles is like a famous Austin spot. Running capitalist dog, says Nick Sweeney. How's your Lenin poster holding up? Do you have a frame for it yet? Do you just eat like borscht and crackers, Nick Sweeney? Apache Junction is in Arizona, about 25-minute drive from Tempe. Oh, that's right. You're in Tempe. I need to go visit Tempe because I have a degree from there and I've never been. That would say, ooh, before everything. Who says that, Mojo? Let's see. I understand Irish pretty well. I thought I did, but not after watching those guys. And they're gypsies. I guess it's a different thing, but let's see. You're in AJ. Oh, Apache Junction. Okay. How is Tempe, man? At least give me like something I can fake. You know what I mean? What should I say when people ask if I've ever been to Tempe and I don't want to explain how I've never been there? My linen Nick Sweeney says my linen poster is perfectly preserved. That's what's called an alley-oop, Nick Sweeney. I set you up and you smashed it home, bro. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Don't stay up too late because you don't want to be late for the ration line tomorrow. My son spent a week in Ireland recently. He would have loved to see that. Yeah, I don't know if it's one of those videos that they're tired of seeing over there or they still like it. Even the British have different accents depending on where they are raised. Yeah, absolutely. It's very much like the American South in my view, because it's North England is completely different than London, And like Georgia is completely different than Texas, or Mississippi is different from everybody. I have no idea what they're saying. I've had full conversations with people from Mississippi and had no idea what they were saying. Let's see. Even the British, yeah, we got that. Don't say Tempe. Like if you go to Tempe, so I do say Tempe, say Tempe. Nick Sweeney is secretly Ho Chi Minh. He is, I feel like we should call him the great leader. Nobody can talk bad about Nick Sweeney or we'll have you arrested. Seth Weil, what's up, man? Hope you had a good Christmas. Good to see you here. Let's see. Checking through the chat here. All right, we'll go another couple minutes and then we'll let everybody get some sleep. Now that we have some nightmare fuel from tonight's story. I have quite a bit of Scots-Irish, McKee bloodline, says Bam Indiana. All I really know about, my bloodline on my dad's side is that they're Irish. Regrettably. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Having a little Irish fun with everybody. Tempe is obviously a college town, but it has some nice perks, great bars. That's what I've heard about all these bars. I've just never been there. Everybody thinks I've been there. Let's see. I'm going to check through the chat one more time here. Any more questions on the episode or on the book or on tomorrow's episode? You guys, if you're a member, you have access to it already. Let's see. Am I leaving anything else out? We'll have a bunch of shorts out tomorrow. We should have 3 shorts out tomorrow. The episode will be out officially tomorrow if you're not a member. If you're not a member, become a member. Highly suggest it. You get live streams, extra live streams. You get episodes, early access to episodes. We'll figure out. We're going to figure out a deal for the merch. We're finalizing the shirts right now. I'm making sure the big hang up is making sure they're 100% cotton, guys. We had the designs. I'm trying to find the right distributor that I know will give you guys 100% cotton. I don't want to send you guys a bunch of deep state plastic to soak into your skin. We're going to hook you guys up. My wife and I are all booked for the 4th of July trip to DC for America's 250th. Right on. Are you going to go to the fight? I mean, the UFC fight? That's not a political joke. Let's see. Sorry, guys. That's what I say when I look through the chats. Let's see. I'm a simple peasant, says Mojo. Well, you and me both, bro. Let's see. Comic Dog, what's up, man? I'm just in time to rewind and watch. Yeah, this will be a good one. Go to like 10 minutes in, as I know I officially started at 10 minutes in. If you guys do ever get here late and you're like, oh, where do I rewind to? Just go to 10 minutes. I try to keep it maybe 5 minutes, but usually I try to wait 10 minutes for everybody to get in here before I start. So if you want to rewind it, just go to 10 minutes and that'll be about the right area. Let's see. Is Nick Sweeney starting a re-education camp? Comrade Sweeney? Commandant Sweeney? I was listening to the video posted earlier before I came in the room. Right on, Risa. I think you guys will like that one. We're putting out a bunch of Texas Ranger Comanche stuff. And I've gotten new stuff too. I've got like a little more internationally flavored stuff. Sometimes those hit, sometimes they don't. We'll see. Bottom of the totem pole is the most revered position. Closest to the earth, top of the totem pole is the least contrary to popular belief. Well, that makes me feel a lot better about my current situation, Nick Citron. That gives me a whole new perspective. Dar Commissar Sweeney, says Space Cowboy. I think he'd take that as a compliment. Let's see here. You might go to the fight. Huh? That'd be awesome. Space Cowboy. That'll be we'll see. I think that'll be a big one though. UFC always kind of depends on the card. Like I guess everything does, but sometimes UFC has a great card and great fights, and sometimes kind of like just I don't know, not what you were wanting. The dollar symbol is the Kundalini serpent rising up your spine. Is that true? I got to figure out some other symbol for a dollar. I keep trying to play catch up, says Risa. Well, all this stuff's going to stay up, so you don't have to rush. I know we're putting out a lot of content, so but I figure it's better to have than not need, the need and not have. So it's better to have the content out there. I know a lot of people binge watch at work and stuff like that, so it's better to have it out there. This is all in addition to our regular episodes too, and the shorts. So it's like, it's just more stuff for people to listen to if they're interested in this kind of stuff and they're trying to get through their workday or chores or whatever. Let's see. Symbolism. Yeah, symbolism's I'm not one of those guys that's like OCD about symbolism, but I do know that it's everywhere. I just don't let it, you know what I mean? I kind of just block it out. I'm like, whatever. Not even like whatever per se, just like I try not to let it get to me. And then you start thinking that everything is symbolism. It's not literally everything that's symbolism. Your shorts are well done. Oh, thanks, man. I've been working really hard on those. Appreciate that. Thank you. Regular posting gets you seen and keeps current subs, says Risa. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, um, it's a time investment for you guys too. Like it's like any other business or whatever. Like I'm glad that people want to spend time here, so want to make it worth everybody's while. And even there's several channels that we cover like Old West history and stuff. But I don't know. As a fan of it, I always want more, and it's just there for the taking. It's there, like if you want it, you can take it. If you don't, you can stick with our regular episodes. But I've worked a lot of jobs and listened to a lot of podcasts, and I was always happy when people just put out more. Let's see. I love your shorts too, says Nick Sweeney. Thank you, Commandant Sweeney. Very happy we made you happy, Mr. Commandant Sweeney. Maybe you'll give us some extra lentils in our rations. You are so knowledgeable, Brandon. Well, I'm an inch deep and a mile wide, I think. Let's see. Everybody says they has ADD today, but I don't know. I think maybe I really do. The Ref is a great Christmas movie. I forgot about The Ref, dude. I haven't heard about that movie in a long time. I haven't seen it in a long time. Let's see here. I think I am. Nick Citron says, I want to do 23andMe, but I don't want my genetic sequence to be on file. I was going to be, you beat me to it, man. I was like, Nick Citron, don't do a 23andMe, dog. Don't do that. It's a deep state plot. We know you're not. We know you're not the Fed of the night. We know it's not Nick Sweeney. I don't think it's divining rod. I don't know, guys. Keep your eyes out. I don't know who the Fed of the night is. Let's see. And I've been keeping an eye on everybody too. I'm always watching. Anybody watch Cart Narcs? You guys know what I'm talking about? Cart Narcs. I think I've watched so much Cart Narcs that I have like this thing in my head, like where I'm instead of telling people to put their carts away, I'm like, you're on a Fed list now. But he has his own little alarm where he goes, whoops, keep widdly whoop. Have you guys seen that? I'm expecting almost everyone in this chat to have seen and be a big fan of Cart Narcs. Let's see. Yeah, you're saying my wife knows I have ADD. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine and I said, like I think I might have. I wonder if I do have like some kind of ADHD. And they were like, yeah, you have like severe ADHD. That's like, it's just like it's the most obvious thing they'd ever heard. Terry R. Sweeney is absolutely a double agent. So but if he's a double agent, then he'd be working for the commies, but then again, working for us. I could see it. Yes, I guess so. Now we're picturing everything Terry R says in a quote. Had a hiccup, guys. Can y'all still see me? Give me a one if you can see me, just to make sure I'm back on track here. Yes, see, yeah, right on. I had 23 and Me, says Bama Deanna, and I loved it, but still do have a problem with my stuff being on file. I understand. I understand. Let's see. Terry R said something just before I. Sweeney is a double agent. Oh, yeah, we were sussing that out. I think now I hear everything Terry R says in the Quebecois accent. I have ADHD and Tourette's, says Space Cowboy. Well, man, we got to get a hold on that, dog. Just a blip in the matrix. Yeah, I think that was. We got a lot of blips in this matrix. Let's see. Let's see. The actor who plays Al Neary in The Godfather is in The Ref. Dude, I've never seen The Godfather. I got to watch The Godfather. I love The Sopranos. That's my favorite show. Never seen The Godfather. Let's see. I see you. Never wanted to hit you this badly, Nick Sweeney says. Well, I got my guard up, dog. You have to slip a shot in. 10 and 2, 10 and 2. Best ADHD quote. Don't blame me because your world moves too slow. I like that. That's gaslighting. I like that. I love gaslighting. Big fan. Guys, you guys gotta tell me if you watch Cart Narcs. Have you heard of Cart Narcs? Before we get out of here, I gotta ask this. Do you watch Cart Narcs? This crowd would love Cart Narcs. Not everybody with ADHD has the hyperactivity. Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm kind of half joking. I don't want to pathologize everything, every idiosyncrasy. You misread that about my 23 and Me, Brandon. Well, you were saying, what did I? Yeah, let me know again what you were saying, because I thought you were saying like you were glad that you'd done it, but just still didn't want your stuff on file if you could help it. But you can't in this case. If you want that information, you do have to kind of submit it and, at least trust them. Brandon was a bouncer. I wouldn't mess with them. Yeah, I mean, I was a bouncer, but yeah, I can be messed with. I'm not the biggest guy. I make sure all my friends are big guys. I had Tourette's and irritable and IBS one time. Yikes. That sounds like a terrible combination. Let's see. Just found out a fun fact. The horse head scene in The Godfather is a real horse head, not a prop. Yikes. I do know that scene. I know that scene. Let's see. Yeah, Mojo, you like Cart Narcs. Yeah, dude. I knew you'd like Cart Narcs. Oh, guys, if you got 80% of you haven't, yeah, just YouTube Cart Narcs, because it's a guy in a yellow or an orange vest with like a little he looks like an air traffic, you know what I mean, the guys with the little things, the wands. He's got an orange vest, a hat with a GoPro, and he just goes around parking lots nationwide. He's been to Austin, he's been to San Francisco, he's been to New York, he's been Jacksonville, Fresno, everywhere, and everywhere in between. He's been international, and he finds people that don't put their carts away, like that just leave them in the little space or whatever, to don't take them back to the cart corral. And he goes, whoop, keep widdly, whoop, whoop, whoop. And they look at him like, what's going on? And he has a bunch of magnets. He'll ask them to put their cart away. And if they start to drive away and say, like, no, get away from me, he gives them a magnet and he puts it on their car. And it says lazy bones on board, or too lazy to put my cart back, or something like that. And people just flip out rather than just take the cart back or like have a conversation or whatever. People just flip out. They chase him down. They do all kinds of stuff. It's one of the best channels on YouTube. Let's see. I always take my carts back, and other folks. He started a revolution, right, Mojo? It's like a thing now. Like everyone that watches would never not take your carts back. Let's see. I have no problem with having stuff on my file. I volunteered to have it on file. I have nothing to hide. Yeah, I mean, it's not for me. It's not about having something to hide. It's just like, I don't know. I guess just I don't want anybody to have anything. That's what I would say. And I figure like my DNA test would just probably bum me out. So let's see. A lot of folks lack common decency and regard for other people. That's why Cartnox has become a phenomenon, man. That's why he's a phenomenon. Let's see. The Godfather's birthday, Divining Rod says, December 7th, same as Tom Waits, the legend Patrice O'Neill, absolutely known Chomsky, C. Thomas Howell, not like I'm just this is like quite the list. Larry Bird, wow, dude, and yours truly. Well, happy late birthday. That's a lot of names to share, dude. That's quite the crowd. Bama's a December baby. No, December 1st. Right on, right on. I'm a December baby. Larry Bird, elite birthday. Yeah, dude, right? He's got Larry Bird, Patrice O'Neill, and Tom Waits and Noam Chomsky. That's a hell of a day. And something else happened on that day, too. You may have heard of it. Let's see. Check out the Black Phillip Show by Patrice. All right. No, I don't think I've heard of that. I've been watching a lot of Chappelle lately. And even at the time, I realized Chappelle was hilarious at the time, but I was too young to really get how hilarious. Wait, what was that? It was, I lost the Patrice thing. Black Phillip. Okay. All right. Oh, I think I know what this show is about. Correct me if I'm wrong. They shame people on SM who don't return. Oh, they shame people on social media who don't return carts saying they have a major character flaw. Yeah, that's a very simple summation of it, though, Risa. It's more like they turn it into this kind of comic live theater thing because it's just like yeah, it's like a live performance art in a way. I share a birthday with Mo Howard, Garfield the Cat, Paula Abdul, and Lou Gehrig. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's up there, Space Cowboy. Brandon, having a DNA test and finding your genetic composition is very rewarding. I know, but it's just going to be a bunch of like, epileptic bog people. I feel like it would just bum me out. December 7th, Pearl Harbor as well. Yes, it is. It's kind of a bummer to have on your birthday, right? But you can make up with it with Noam Chomsky and Tom Waits and Larry Bird. Wouldn't it be funny if like Larry Bird wasn't the best basketball player out of those? If like Noam Chomsky could just ball like crazy. That's what the funniest. I didn't understand Prince when I was a kid and Chappelle Show was on. I knew who Prince was, but I didn't really understand that much about him. So this true story about Prince being an amazing basketball player is like 10 times funnier now. The bog people thing gets me every time. I'm just talking about my family specifically. I'm not talking about other people's family. Let's see. My grandfather was the 8th, the same as Jim Morrison. And the day that John Lennon was unalive. We've talked about both those events. Both those events could be that could be a MK Ultra holiday. That could be MK Ultra Day in America. Interesting doesn't equal rewarding. I guess I don't know. I guess it doesn't. Let's see. I'm everything you've ever wished for, everything you've ever feared, says Nick Sweeney. Yes, Comrade Sweeney. Speaking of performance art, Alex Stein, Pimp on a Blimp. Oh, yeah, everybody knows Alex Stein. He's here in Austin quite a bit. Prince was a great basketball player. No, Prince was a legit baller. Yeah, everybody says that. All right, we'll go to like an hour and a half, guys, because this is pretty fun. And an interesting little tidbit that I don't know if a lot of people know, but a lot of people, at least in my generation, I think, were just after MC Hammer. So they kind of like they think MC Hammer was like kind of a pop guy, kind of like a pop hip hop guy, the parachute pants and everything. It's like a very dated thing, at least in my generation's view. It was not now. Like he's awesome. Like now I'm totally into it. But yes, dude, Mojo, MC Hammer was a gangster, like a gangster. Like there's a story Ice Cube tells about putting this like kind of like spoof video. Like he mentions MC Hammer in one of his songs, and there was like a little spoof of him on the video where they're like beating him up and taking him away and stuff. And MC Hammer and his crew showed up at Ice Cube's hotel and were like, "Dude, get out!" And it wasn't like they were all there to fight. It was like just MC Hammer, and he's like, "Come on out, dog. I've been waiting for you. Like, don't you ever do that again." Method Man has a story like that. There's several stories where like MC Hammer has showed up and said like, well, what's up, fool? Like, what's really good? And they were like, oh, nothing, Mr. Hammer. Even Ice Cube literally called him Mr. Hammer. He's like, sorry about that, Mr. Hammer. Won't happen again. So like, really, out of all of them, like, you do not mess with Hammer. Let's see. And he used to be a bat boy for the Oakland A's, which is pretty cool. Funniest Dave Chappelle skit is the Black Pixie sketch. I don't remember that, man. I'll have to write that down. Don't get me in trouble. Well, it's Chappelle. You're not getting me in trouble. He literally was around forever as a gangster. Finally had one hit wonder. Yeah. He was legit. Like, I guess, yes, he was literally too legit to quit. Morrison father was on the boat for the Gulf of Tonkin. Yeah, he was the commander. And it's very curious that 3 or 4 years after that, Jim Morrison, with absolutely no musical experience, is at UCLA and then is recording in a former U.S. Air Force propaganda studio in Laurel Canyon. Because there was not really a music scene in the 60s in LA until it was created in Laurel Canyon. And it's very odd that it would just pop up organically with these very talented and polished artists out of nowhere. Just saying. Yeah, Zappa's father was in charge of chemical weapons for the Navy. Yep. David Crosby's family was way up there. Even Graham Parsons had some links way up. He had some links to highly placed officials. I think his dad was up there. I know his dad was a very wealthy citrus farmer, but there's some link there. Who else? Many people. Everything is conspiracy. Not everything. Let's see. Prince was very wise and knew about spiritual stuff and ownership and strawman contracts and Hollywood's BS. Prince was ahead of his time. Legit, dude. And he could play everything. He was just like a savant, man. I guess not even a savant, but like a literal genius. Like that, he could play every instrument. He could dance, write songs. He could shred guitar. Yeah, absolutely shred guitar. I think that's what comes to everyone's mind is the George Harrison memorial for My Guitar Gently Weeps. And he just showed up. That wasn't like, not everybody knew what he was going to do. He just showed up with like Tom Petty and George's son and everybody else that's up there and was like, you mind if I join? Like the day of, I think, just very, very, everyone had it rehearsed. And he was like, well, you guys mind if I do this little solo? And they were like, yeah, sure. He didn't tell him he was going to like fall backwards and have the guy catch him. It was like more him putting on a show for the guys on stage than anything else. One of the best moments in guitar history. Watched that 100 times. He did that because they snubbed him off the top. That's right. And they snubbed him off the top 75 guitarist lists. Yeah. Which is abhorrent, which is a crime against the instrument. Let's see. He knew how things worked on the dark side. Yes, he did. And there's a couple other people that have thrown out some crumbs for us too. Divining Rod, I worked in Laurel Canyon for about 18 years. I've got stories. Well, dog, we'll meet up and let's maybe we can have you share some of those stories, dude. I want to do like in January, I'm going to do a whole new channel. I mean, this one's going to stay at the same production rate, but I'm going to start doing conspiracies live streams on the other channel. Because sometimes people literally come here for Old West history. Poor guys. Then we go into conspiracy talk and they get confused. So it's like, okay, we'll make another channel. Prince wrote, produced, and played while playing all the instruments on his first album when he was 17. Yeah, just a phenom. Let's see. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Lauryn Hill told the music industry to yes, absolutely. Aaliyah said some crazy stuff before her plane went down. No, wait. Aaliyah was Aaliyah was Aaliyah a plane crash too? But I mean, I meant Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Let's see. But there's something with Aaliyah too. Ever seen the movie Big Boys from Brazil? I have not, but I'll write it down. Boys from Brazil. Let's see here. Just saw Jim Carrey singing "I Am the Walrus." It's so good, dude. It is so good, right? He kills it. It's so good. What is Laurel Canyon? Says Arizona Boy. It's an actual canyon in LA. It was famous for being home to all these musicians and the home of the recording studio where all of these mega uh, hippie culture songs were recorded, like Mamas and Papas. Frank Zappa recorded there. All these people were talking about Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, The Doors, many, many, many people. Janis, I believe, Janis Joplin. The movie Under the Silver Lake. I think I've heard of that, but I don't think I've watched it. Explains the music industry perfectly. Under the Silver Lake. Oh, you've never heard of Laurel Canyon, Josh McAllister? Yeah, it's basically asserting that the entire counterculture was a creation of the deep state as well, as like a Hegelian dialectic, like a dialectic that is controlled. Both sides are controlled. It was a way to control the anti-war movement. Is one theory that's posited. Laurel Canyon is a street that connects the San Fernando Valley to Hollywood. I didn't know it connected this. I don't really know the towns down there. I know the San Fernando Valley and the Hollywood though. So, okay, I get it. The Isaac Cappy thing. Yeah, Isaac Cappy. That's no accident. Well, now I have more homework to do, I guess. Yeah, if you do like MK Ultra Laurel Canyon, I'm sure you'll find lots of stuff. It's crazy. Wait, who are we talking about? Oh, Isaac Cappy wasn't crazy. No, he wasn't crazy. Laurel Canyon basically is where a lot of quote unquote stuff happens in Hollywood. Correct. And it has for a long time. But nothing was there. It was nothing. It was a big canyon. And then there was an Air Force propaganda studio. And I mean propaganda, not even as a pejorative, just as a literal descriptor, this is where they made films to prop up or to boost morale, or instruction films during World War II. And then, which is when it wasn't the Air Force, it's the U.S. Army Air Service. But it just went right from being that. No, eventually it was the Air Force, and it was still operated under the Air Force by the 50s. But then it closed down, and right after that is when the Hollywood music scene really started in earnest. And there's just a lot that doesn't line up. James Alefantis and the Podesta. Yeah. Oh, yeah. K. Griggs. I don't know K. Griggs, though. Okay. K. Griggs. I don't think he jumped on purpose. I think he used MK Ultra. What are we talking about here? Jump. Oh, you're talking about Cappy. Why control the opposition when one can be the opposition? Well, that's it. That's what a Hegelian dialectic is, Nick Sweeney. It's related to PG. Are you talking about Laurel Canyon or the movie? That was the treasure trove PG was? Yeah, I don't know if it was. I'm with you, though. Like, I'm 50-50 on that, because there was a treasure trove somewhere. I don't know if PG was the Hegelian dialectic thing of like creating a big diversion, but I'm 50-50. I'm way open to it. Same with the introduction to the Eastern mindset. Yeah, very much, very true. I mean, it's an MK Ultra wasn't a music project. Like there's little projects within MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a mind control project. where they megadosed people with psychedelics in brothels. They megadosed prisoners with psychedelics to try and figure out how they could control their mind. The Manchurian candidates, the all kinds of stuff. It was about just how can you control people's minds, and then how can you make that work for you. And if you look into, guys, look into any of the big unalivings that happened in American history from the 1950s on. And I'm talking everybody from Mr. Kennedy, from the Kennedys to, man, Bob Marley to John Lennon to Jim Morrison. Jimi Hendrix is a big one floating around now. Let's see. Wonderland. Yeah, Wonderland is an incredible movie, and Wonderland is a crazy story. Oh, also the Manson family, big MK Ultra. I think pretty obvious MK Ultra there. Nick Sweeney says flat earth truth. Now, Nick Sweeney, we can talk about PDF files. We can talk about mind washing, brainwashing. We can talk about how the music industry is controlled by evil elites, sir. But we cannot talk about the shape of the earth, or everyone gets very upset. Everyone gets very upset, sir. And I feel like you know that, and you're trying to be a bit of a pot stirrer here. A bit of a, what do you call that? Instigator. Later, y'all. Gotta go, says Arizona boy. Have work in the morning. No problem, dog. Hope the job is going better than it started. Hang in there. Let's see. Salty Cracker references the Hegelian dialectic and the Overton window. I forgot about Salty Cracker and the Stanford the Stanford prison experiment. Absolutely. Overton window is so important because it's like anything outside of that, it's like just going to be like prying prying a T-bone from a wolf's mouth or something. Like it's not going to happen. Like you're not going to open that up. It just takes so long. Jim Jones, absolutely. MK Ultra. Let's see. MK Ultra, Mockingbird, yeah. Blue Beam, MK Kitten, yeah. Project Monarch. What's the one that Stranger Things is about? The Montauk Project. Go look that up if you don't know about Montauk. Montauk. Divining Rod says flat AF. I'm not saying anything. All I want to know is, I would say, is like, okay, let's say this is a sphere, right? So if I'm shooting a straight laser, or let's say I have a telescope and I'm looking out this way. If it's a sphere and a ship goes over the edge, no matter what, there's nothing I can do to make the telescope lens bend past the horizon. So it's very strange because it would take an entirely flat Earth for that to work. But I'm not saying nothing. It's my favorite trigger subject, bro. You cannot talk about it, Nick. Divining Rod. We can get into Montauk. We can get into MK Ultra. We can talk about. I think we can even talk moon landing, and everyone's like, yeah. But you cannot talk about flat Earth, dog. You can get everybody riled up. Nick Sweeney set this up. Comrade Sweeney is working as a triple agent, stirring discontent within our ranks. He wants us all eating vegetable soup and soda crackers forever, standing in ration lines. Shutter Island was definitely, Shutter Island's good. Montauk was a vibe. I think you said Montauk was a vibe, Josh McAllister, and I was like, I guess Montauk's a vibe. You're saying it's a tribe. Yeah, the tribe in the Northeast. No soup for you, says Nick Sweeney. Brigitte Macron was at Stanford. They left Easter eggs in that movie. Yeah, if you know what to look for, you'll see a lot, especially in Shutter Island. But you'll see a lot of Easter eggs. One of Leo's best movies. Yeah, it was a good one. That was a good one. Oh, Divining Rod. I didn't see this one. John Belushi, 100%, dude. 100%. Something happened there. because none of his friends would vouch for that. They were like, "Well, he didn't do that." Especially Bill Murray was like, "What? He owed? Oh, you know what I mean? Like he did the OVDing." Operation Paperclip, says Nick Citron. You already know, dog. Operation Paperclip. Warner von Braun. Buried with a verse about the firmament. Behold the earth and its firmament. Why is the head of NASA, who's we recruited from the World War II Germans, buried with a Bible verse about the firmament? The firmament. The firmament. How about Eyes Wide Shut? 100%. 100%, guys. Oh, I have to get 1 second. I have to grab my charger. It's like 2 seconds over here. It's like 5 seconds, but yes, Eyes Wide Shut. I'm trying to think of other ones, and I should be able to bring them to mind right now. Almost any like war movie. Sorry, guys. Plugging it in. Oh, obviously, The Right Stuff, Apollo 13. Oh, yeah, we got lost in space. An engine went out, so we used the moon's gravity to slingshot ourselves back through the Van Allen radiation belt. Oh, right on. Good. Glad that worked out. His character in Django is the best acting Leo ever did. That was pretty dope. Yeah, that's a tough one. The South African accent from Blood Diamond was like, I can't watch this. I cannot watch this anymore. Trying to find a blood diamond. Oh man, I'm here for the demons, the diamonds. I received a surprise. Nick Sweeney, you naughty boy. He was great in Django, but Departed. Yeah, The Departed. Dude, I've probably seen The Departed more than any of those. Wolf of Wall Street was good. Catch Me If You Can, Blood Diamond. I thought Gangs of New York he did a good job on. Cameron Diaz, that was kind of, I don't know, redhead Cameron Diaz is kind of peak Cameron Diaz. She's kind of dirty in that movie though, like literally, like take a shower. You know what I mean? She had like dirty fingernails and stuff. Like, girl, you know who I love the mostest is Christoph Waltz. He's a very talented actor. He's got a vibe, dude. An intense guy. Eyes Wide Shut. The costume shop owner is wearing Jack's robe from The Shining. Oh, The Shining. Yeah, The Shining. Oh my gosh. Shining, one of the Space Odyssey 2001, The Shining. Kubrick tried to tell us a lot of stuff, guys. Kubrick tried, and then he ended up, Kubrick tried and Kubrick died. Let's see. Part of Eyes Wide Shut was cut out. Yeah, it was cut out, and then there was no more Kubrick. Leo got beat up by Daniel Day-Lewis. Yes. Which part, loin or shank? And he throws the cleave up like that. I like the beginning too, when they have this like Protestant versus Catholic argument where they're like, prepare to perceive the true Lord. And he says, like, you're going to pay for your Roman popery. Those are pretty good lines, guys. That was WWF. You'd be like, all right, we're working here. That's Attitude Era level. Let's see. Nicole Camera draws it in. I don't know what that Nicole Cameras draws it in. I'm not sure what that means. Departed is a hot mess. Yeah, it is. I mean, I get what you're saying. Cameron Diaz was great in that Devil movie. Would anyone in here be surprised if they woke up in the Matrix the way Keanu Reeves did in the Matrix, or if Soylent Green was real? No, I don't think so. Mask Cameron Diaz is peak Cameron. Yes, sir. Yes. It's somewhere in that stretch. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah. Like I said, she would be Pete Cameron in Gangs of New York, but it's like, girl, take a shower. Like, we're not going out like this. I don't care. I'm not going to get a burger with you looking like this. Dirt under your fingernails. Look stinky. The beach. Yeah, the beach was good. Good night, Risa. Hey, Brandon, I'm exhausted. It's very late on the East Coast. Oh, I didn't know. That's right. I forgot you're on the East Coast. Going to turn in. your earlier vid and listen to it as I drift off. Thanks for coming by, Risa. We'll have a sleep video out for you next, actually. So I think you guys will enjoy that. Let's see. All right, guys. I think I'm going to start wrapping it up myself here. Check for one more time for any more MK Ultra stuff. If make sure everybody's on the same page and make sure. I don't know who's the Fed tonight. I don't know. A little too much MK Ultra talk, if you ask me. I don't know, guys. I'm gonna think about it tonight. Good night, y'all. Hope everyone had a solid Christmas. Thanks, Mojo. You too, man. Y'all come on back tomorrow because I'll do a stream in the morning. Or it'll be noon Eastern time. Or wait, no, I don't want to step on. Let's do 1 Eastern time. That way the episode will be done. So 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. That way the episode will be done and doesn't draw away people from the episode. I get a sense that Hollywood ran a Space Cowboy. Almost read that out loud. But can I say that? I could go on for hours and hours about Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, I watch tons of like film analysis stuff while I'm working. A lot of it on Kubrick. Cameron is not in The Devil's Advocate. Yeah, were you guys talking about The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves? Another coffee clutch. Yes, well, it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern, so a little after lunch for our East Coast brethren. Corey Feldman. Yeah, no, man. People have been trying to, they always make people look crazy. I would say that. Big Horn or something. Leo should play Custer. I don't hate that, man. That's actually, I could see that. Because if he could do the Django Unchained character, then like they could make it different enough. And I could see him doing that. Oh, you meant Washita? Okay, yeah. I will be at work during all day from here on for FMLA. My life is over. Oh, man. Well, at least maybe you can listen while you're at work. And then the big streams are at night anyways. Nick Sweeney is out of here. Good night, Broseph Stalin, says Divining Rod. You talking to Nick Sweeney? I don't blame you. But yes, guys, so we'll wrap it up for tonight. Come on back at 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll do another stream. I'm not sure on what yet, but we'll figure it out. And go check out our episode if you haven't yet. We'll have a couple more streams or a couple more shorts on it tomorrow. And a bunch more stuff. We'll have a sleep episode out in the next couple days. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like FML, but I didn't know what A was. Family Medical Leave Act. Okay. Our dear leader, HOKC. Yes, comrade. That's gonna get. Damn it! Now I'm on a watch list. Dang it! I thought I'd finally gotten through the stream without getting put on a watch list. All right, y'all. Well, regardless, come on back for 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow if I haven't already been picked up for being on a watch list. And we will do another live stream, and we'll just keep on chugging. We'll do one. We have movie night tomorrow night. That's what I forgot. New movie night tomorrow night. I believe it's 3:10 to Yuma. It's Artemio Moreno's pick, and I don't see him here tonight. So we'll check for sure tomorrow. But it will be a movie night tomorrow night. So come on back for that as well. All right, y'all. I'm going to head out for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless and have a good night.